Okay, welcome to this channel, welcome to this reading. Not every message is for everybody, so if you find yourself fighting or struggling with it in any way, leave it behind. It simply means it's not for you. So we'll start clearing space. All right, now surrendering my ego, my story, and my energy. Okay. Right away I get the image of a hand with an eraser, kind of erasing like a chalkboard, an old school chalkboard. So take that as the divine signal to clear the slate and let's begin. This is a message for what the universe, the divine wants you to know right here, right now. It's an important message. It's not going to be for everyone. If it's yours, you know it. So the Two of Pentacles. I'll put all the cards down before I start creating the story or the message that goes with it. Five of Wands. The Nine of Swords. Okay, so I'm feeling a little bit of energy move here. All right, so Two of Pentacles, the message coming through is about being able to create a foundation or a beginning that's balanced, kind of letting go or setting aside any type of internal sparring or the internal dialogue or combating that we have. Sometimes where a part of us wants to move in a direction and another part of us wants to do something completely different. There's a lot of anxiety or concern over whether the direction you're moving in is in fact the right direction. I know that sometimes making moves can be scary, especially if we don't have the benefit of truly feeling in our ego selves that we know exactly where it is we're going or what the outcome is going to be. So, moving along, we have the Temperance. Oh, and the Hanged Man, okay. So Divine is asking that you focus on less about what the outcome is going to be of this path that you're embarking or the call that you're answering, but focus more on alchemizing, healing, or letting go. Divine is asking you to focus on alchemizing, healing, resolving all of those doubts and fears, those moments from the past, to take this time now to maybe look at things historically from a different perspective, right? Sometimes time and distance can change how we view the situation, the relationships, maybe even the conversations that we've had, right? Sometimes if you put some space in between, before you take that next action, before you take that next step, it creates the opportunity to kind of just see things differently. It's kind of like if you go to a museum and you look at a painting on the wall, like the simple thing is like changing the frame can make all the difference in the world to how you perceive that painting or that piece of artwork. It doesn't change the artwork, it just changes how we look at it, how we view it, what we bring our awareness, our attention to. And so the Hanged Man showing up in this position is really kind of Spirit's way of asking, Divine's way of asking you to, change that frame, change the arrangement. It could be something even like physical in your environment. Maybe it's saying, in order to move forward, you need to make changes, change the furniture arrangement, bring in a plant, but give yourself the opportunity to look at an old worry or concern through new eyes or through new lens. temperance, on the traditional Rider-Waite, temperance has one foot in the water, the healing water, one foot on land, and is pouring from one to the other. And the idea is that, it's creating that healing experience. So Spirit is asking you not to forget or to forgive even, but to take what you've learned from the past and turn it into something useful in the future. It's asking you to spend, a little bit of time in repose, bringing, and here you go, you couldn't ask for a better card, right? Talking about for the repose, the Four of Swords, right? That momentary pause where we let all of our thoughts come to settle, right? Come to a place of non-movement, non-action, not necessarily being stuck, but allowing you to kind of process intellectually as well as spiritually everything that's brought you to this point, to this juncture. You're truly being called forward on an adventure. This is the hero's journey, right, that we're all living. And so you're being asked, but Spirit is saying, hey, before you go rushing off, with your horses and your daggers, let's think about what's happened, process what we've learned, and move forward with a type of intelligence or renewed energy. I'm getting a little bit of congestion in my throat chaucer. So maybe for some of you, it's about being able to speak your truth, to give words to your experience. At the bottom of the deck, I have the Queen of Wands, and so the Queen of Wands is really asking, the Queen of Wands for me, especially in this deck, is the witch, right? So sitting in that power of authority and feeling confident that you have everything at your fingertips, everything you need to bring all of these elements together. Spirit is telling you that you are powerful and that you know exactly what you need to know in order to be able to make the right steps, to take the right steps in the right journey. Especially now, especially at this place where you're at this pinnacle decision point. You're balancing, your material needs, your wants and your thoughts, the opportunities and growth, and you're kind of blending that all in together and meditating on it, bringing the thoughts and ideas and inspirations into that meditative state, that contemplative state, kind of tossing and turning over, like what's going to work and what's not going to work, and being able to look at it, quite literally from a different perspective. I remember one time where I was really struggling on, how to move forward and taking all the elements of the things I loved to do, and I literally wrote them down on Post-it notes and scattered them around the floor and then hung upside down over my couch so I could look at them differently and see every aspect. And then I kind of put them together by categories, but I literally did that so I could kind of see things from a different perspective. Sometimes, that we have to take those drastic actions. And I would also say that, taking a break, stepping aside, meditating, going into quiet contemplation, even if it means like going outside for a walk, will give you the ability you need to kind of just step away from some of those anxious thoughts. I'm not talking about a diagnosis. I'm just talking about, that feeling of like overwhelm, the fear of what we don't know that may come true. So we have the Champion here. It says achievement and downfall. And so Spirit may be asking you, what side of the pendulum are you on? Are you in that place where you really just want to take action because you feel like you need to take action? Or are you in that place where you want to take action, but you want to make sure it's the right action this time? But we also want to get stuck where we're worrying about, is it right or is it wrong? We really just want to make sure that, does it feel aligned or not? And have we learned from where we've come, that past experience? We also have the Botanist with parenthood and legacy. And I think really for me, my eye is drawn to the flower, and this to me looks like a peony, and peony is all about, that the Japanese, I think it's Japanese rose, right? The type of like layer upon layer, and the beauty really only begins to expose itself once it's fully blossomed and fully bloomed. The depth of the peony is really untold in its pure form. Like the beginning stage is just a little ball. And so Spirit is asking look at everything that you've learned and has those petals kind of unfolded, like what has brought you to this place now, and be able to appreciate the beauty that is you, perfect and flawed in every way. Let's get one more card. Spirit is telling me to grab one more card. Yeah, the Musician. So the thing about the Musician is that it embodies the whole concept or the iconology of the muse and the creator, inspiration, feeling gratitude by the simple things or from the simple things, not looking for the bigger wow moment, but going inward. And so I would encourage, if this message is for you, to take the opportunity before you make the decision to move forward in a call or on this journey, on this path, is to be able to assimilate, to pull in everything that you've learned thus far to this point. Even if you feel like you're repeating a cycle, what's the high level takeaway, and do it from a place where you're the observer, like you're watching a movie versus being an actor or a participant in the movie. See the whole landscape, review all of the elements, whether they're big or small, and instead of creating that feeling of angst and hesitation and fear, allow yourself to simply be with it. Look for the high points. Stop focusing on the things that you think you did wrong or don't feel like they turned out the way that you had intended. Be part of the creation of what comes next. Embrace that creative power. You are the powerful witch. This isn't about how you identify. This is about the energy of being that powerful creator. And then, in those moments, pick out the points that you can use as fuel for the inspiration, that you can use to kind of propel you forward, the fuel for the next. And just remember to be grateful for everything that you've experienced, the things that have seemed wonderful and the things that have not seemed wonderful. They've all been an integral part of this journey that you're participating in. Whoever you are, this is just the beginning. Bring all of the elements together, and what happens next is going to be beautiful. I'm sure of it. Until next time, be well.